Welcome to WeakNet.Academy. I am your instructor, Douglas Berdeaux. In this video demonstration, we're going to be taking a look at how we can add non-administrative users to a fresh installation of Daemon Linux. Now, some people may find it unsettling to use root as their daily driver in their version of Linux, and that totally makes sense. If root was running everything and a service had a particular security vulnerability and that service were compromised by a threat actor, the threat actor could potentially take full control of your system as the root user. This is a common method for people attacking capture the flag systems or even during penetration tests. Now, Daemon Linux was a packaged distribution, which means that I customized the entire distribution and added all of the tools and everything and packaged it up using Debian Linux. So it's basically just built off of the Debian Linux operating system. Daemon Linux itself is not an operating system, it's a distribution. This particular distribution has been built specifically for penetration testers. Now, as penetration testers, we don't normally keep our virtualized environments past an engagement unless they're in protected archives. And the reason why is because these virtualized environments may contain sensitive client information about their networks in the form of like Nmap scans or DNS recon output, or vulnerability scans from, say, Nessus or some other vulnerability scanner, or even PCI, PII, FERPA, or HIPAA, very sensitive user data that was pulled from user shares as evidence, and so on and so forth. So usually after an engagement, the virtualized environments get shredded. So every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however long your engagements are, as a penetration tester, it's just going to be wiped and wiped and wiped. When I built Daemon Linux, I built it with that mentality. I also built it with the mentality that as a penetration tester, you need full control of your system. So obviously, I built it completely around the root user, as I did every other distribution that I've made in the past. So again, if you aren't comfortable using the root user for everything and you want to add a non-root user, we're going to be doing that, and we're going to be making a lot of UI changes in this video lesson. So let's first start by opening up a terminal and adding the user. As we can see, I am the root user. This specifies the user I'm logged in as in the shell, and this bash symbol right here, or this bang symbol rather, that specifies that I am in fact the administrator. Also, if you go over here and click here, you can log out as root, but we're not going to do that just yet. We're going to make some changes here. To add the user, I'm going to use add user weaknet. And now it's going to ask me for a password. Then it's going to ask me for the user's name, a couple other questions, and then ask me to confirm with a capital Y. The next thing we want to do is change our system completely. Now, again, I built this just for penetration testers so that the system will boot directly into this Windows environment right here called XFCE4, and it immediately is logged in as root. And the way I did that was I created my own service. Now, we could stop that service easily using the gedit/etc/rc.local. And this is going to open the text editor gedit, and it's going to show the service. See line 3 here? You could probably imagine what this is doing. It's changing into the root's home directory and then starting the Windows system. The reason why we change into the root directory is so that whenever root starts the Windows system and root is logged in here, whenever we do things like open the terminal, we're instantly within the root home environment, which is usually how normal window managers work. So I'm going to hit home here, and I'm going to put a bang symbol in front of that, and I'm going to comment that out. I'm going to hit the save button, and then I'm going to hit the X button. So now when I reboot my system, it's not going to open Windows automatically. I'll be able to log in as the user that I want to choose to log in as first, and then type Start X to start Windows. One last thing that we want to do is make the root terminal the same as my new user's terminal. Like, I would like the terminal to look exactly the same. So one thing that I can do is simply cat this file, bash rc, and I'm going to spit that out into home/weaknet.bash rc. And now the terminals will be the same, yet the paths won't. So a lot of applications may seem like they're missing whenever you're running as a non-administrative user, and that's simply because they're not within our path. If I do echo path, we could see that inside of my path, I have directories like user local sbin, and I have sbin, and I also have probably user sbin around here somewhere. Here it is, user sbin. And within these directories, like user sbin, that's where like the command reboot lives. So even if I added the user to the sudoers, which we're going to do next, I won't be able to type reboot. It'll say command not found from the terminal. So even if I did sudo reboot, it would do command not found. So what we would have to do is sudo /user sbin and then reboot to reboot the system. So finally, the next thing I'm going to do is gedit /etc and then sudoers. And this is going to open the text editor with the file /in/etc called sudoers, as we see here. And I added this line right here. This is WeakNet. This line won't exist in yours. So I'm going to make this look just like yours. I'm going to hit Control S and save that. And what I'm going to do now is this is what your file will look like. Just take this line right here, hit Control C, paste it in just underneath, and then we're going to change the login name right here to WeakNet. And what this is going to do is allow WeakNet to have all of the administrative privileges as root if WeakNet specifies the sudo command before the actual command being executed. And you will have to type in your password every time. I think there's a grace period of 5 minutes, but I'm going to hit Control S, or you could hit Save up here. Then hit this X button, and now what I'm going to do is reboot the system. This part isn't necessary whatsoever. I'm just doing it just to show the fact that it won't boot into the Windows environment, XFCE4, as the root user. We're given this prompt instead. So I'm going to type WeakNet and type in WeakNet's new password. And now I'm logged in as a non-administrative user. I could type start X and hit enter. And we could see that this does not look like Daemon Linux. This does not look like the UI or the UX at all. So I'm going to do default config. Now the configuration that it just asked me for was for these two panels. And we can see we are logged in as WeakNet Labs user. And now, there's going to be some things you probably want to change. If you want it to look like Daemon Linux, I'm going to show you how to do that now. From here on out, all of this is totally optional, and I'm just throwing this in here as an added bonus. So I'm going to go to Settings Manager, and I'm going to go to Window Manager, and I'm going to choose Shades of Gray. As you can see, it changed the window manager itself. I'm going to go back to All Settings, and I'm going to go to, let's see, Appearance, and I'm going to scroll all the way up, and I'm going to choose Shades of Gray, Firebrick. I'm going to go back to All Settings, and I'm going to go to Icons. Let's see here. I believe it's actually in Appearance. Here it is, Icons, and I'm going to choose Papyrus Dark. I'm going to go back to All Settings again, and I'm going to go to Desktop. And now to get the Daemon wallpapers, all of the customized images and icons that I specifically personally made for Daemon Linux are all in the same directory, /user/share/Daemon. So what I'm going to do is click on this folder, click Other. I'm going to go to User, Share. I'm just going to click on the Share word here. Scroll up till I see the word Daemon. We're going to double click on it. We're going to double click on Images, double click on Wallpaper and hit Open, and you'll see that all of these will change, and it will show you all of the Daemon Linux specific wallpapers here. Let's go ahead and make this a little bigger, easier to see. And there we go. We could choose that one. That one's, the one without the penetration testing is actually cooler, I think. There we go. That's my favorite. And I'm going to, you choose whatever you want, obviously. I'm going to go back to All Settings, and I'm going to go to Preferred Applications. Now, this is really important because you're going to choose, see, there's no browser set right here. So you're going to choose Firefox. There's no mail installation. There's no mail application installed, rather. So if you install Thunderbird or something, you could choose that here to handle all of your email. The terminal emulator is like a crap one, and both of these are crap. So I'm going to hit Other, and I'm going to type the word Tilix. Tilix. I'm going to hit OK, and you'll see that the icon changes. I think this is pretty close to what Daemon Linux looks like. I'm going to hit Close. Oh, one thing I want to show you, actually, is that, see, when I closed that window and I reopened it, this background went from white to the actual dark theme, like the actual dark theme background. So I'm going to exit off of that here, and I'm going to right click over here. I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to click this button right here. This is going to take a while to load, and I'm sorry that there's no feedback. This Applications menu is an application that I specifically didn't build, but it takes a long time to load all of these icons. Now you could go down to Image Files, and as I mentioned before, go to User Share Daemon. Here we go, and we're going to go to Images and Icons, and we're going to choose this one right here with the padding. I'm going to hit OK, and you can see that it shows the correct icon that usually comes with Daemon Linux, and I'm going to change this to space, all caps, Daemon. Close, and there you go. So finally, the last thing to note again is that a lot of applications simply aren't going to work. Penetration testing specific applications and the Daemon Linux specific applications. So the Daemon App Store won't work at all, and the Daemon Update tool won't work at all, and that's because they're not within your path, and they do a lot of things to your system that require root privileges. They actually, like this for instance, installs applications, and it sets up paths, and it actually does stuff to your kernel as well. So again, if you want to do that stuff, you're going to have to log in as root. And so we just do log out, and then we're going to do Control D to exit. We're going to log in as root, password WeakNet, do start X. And now if we try this over here, we're going to do, let's see here, Daemon Linux, Daemon App Store, and we see that it works perfectly fine. So whenever you do run penetration testing applications that require root, you may have to open a shell and sudo su to root, or you may actually have to just run them. You also would have to specify the path, by the way, or you may just have to do what I just did, just log out and log back in as root. So let's just exit that, and that is it for this video. I hope this helps anyone understand the purpose of as to why I have root automatically logged in. Again, it's for penetration testing, specifically for that, and it's meant to be blown away after each engagement. And again, if you want to use this as your daily driver and you want to use this with a non-administrative account, I hope this video was for you and it helped. And yeah, so have a great day. Thank you.